take your popcorn, dim the lights, and settle in, because what you're about to hear will send chills down your spine. The night is dark, and the whispers of the past are calling. Tonight, we journey to a place where the living and the dead are bound together, where spirits wander, never finding peace, their stories lingering like shadows in the dark. The Queen Mary, a ship once known for its luxury and grace, is now a haunted relic of a darker time, its hull carrying the weight of untold tales and restless souls. Get ready. The Queen Mary awaits, and the ghosts aboard are calling. The Queen Mary, a name that once evoked grandeur, elegance, and the golden age of ocean travel. But today, it is remembered for something much darker. Docked in Long Beach, California, this retired luxury liner has become the center of a terrifying legend. Known as one of the most haunted ships in the world, the Queen Mary has earned its place in history, not just for its majestic voyages, but for the restless spirits that roam its decaying halls. Imagine walking through the ship's cavernous hallways, the air thick with the scent of salt and rust. The distant hum of machinery fades, leaving only the sound of your own breath echoing in the silence. But then you hear it, the faint sound of footsteps behind you. You turn, but no one is there. The chill of a cold draft brushes your skin, as if something or someone just passed by. The Queen Mary's history is as complex as it is tragic. Built in 1936, it was the crown jewel of the Cunard Line, meant to be the fastest and most luxurious ocean liner in the world. But the ship's calm voyages were disrupted when it was requisitioned for service during World War II. Painted a ghostly gray, stripped of its opulence, and renamed HMS Queen Mary, the ship became a transport vessel, ferrying soldiers across the Atlantic. During this time, it was involved in a horrific accident when it collided with the HMS Curacoa, killing over 300 men. It was a moment that marked the ship's history forever, a reminder of the horrors that lingered even after the war ended. But the Queen Mary's journey into the realm of the supernatural didn't end with the war. After years of service, the ship was retired, its glamorous days of ferrying celebrities and royalty long gone. Instead, it was repurposed into a floating hotel in the 1970s. That's when the whispers of ghostly encounters began. Staff and guests alike reported unsettling experiences. Cold spots, the sound of children laughing in empty corridors, and the unmistakable feeling of being watched. The most chilling encounters occurred in what is now known as the haunted pool area. Once a lavish first-class swimming pool, it has become a hotspot for paranormal activity. Guests have reported seeing figures submerged in the pool's murky depths, only to realize they were staring at nothing but the cold water. People have heard the sound of splashing, the echo of laughter, but when they approach, the pool is eerily still. Some say the spirit of a young girl who drowned here in the 1940s still haunts the pool, unable to escape the watery grave she was left in. But the Queen Mary's ghostly roster doesn't end there. The ship's most infamous apparition is the woman in white. Her ghostly figure has been seen in the ship's grand ballroom, gliding through the ornate space, as if still lost in time. Witnesses describe her as wearing a long, flowing white gown with a sorrowful expression on her pale face. Some say she was a passenger who died aboard the ship. Others speculate she was a staff member who met a tragic end. Regardless of her origin, she is said to haunt the ballroom, her sorrowful presence sending chills down the spine of anyone who dares to enter. But the spirits aboard the Queen Mary aren't all passive. Some are far more sinister. Staff working in the ship's engine room have reported being violently shoved or scratched by unseen forces. The area, once home to the ship's massive engines, is now considered one of the most haunted locations on the vessel. Some have claimed to see shadowy figures stalking the darkened hallways, their shapes indistinct is there but darkness. Perhaps the most unnerving tales come from those who have encountered full-body apparitions. There are reports of passengers seeing otherworldly figures dressed in the uniforms of long-dead sailors, walking the decks as if they were still at sea. Sometimes, these apparitions appear as though they're lost or confused, wandering the ship's labyrinthine corridors. And when they make eye contact, the feeling is unmistakable, a cold, unnatural chill that grips your heart. The Queen Mary has become a focal point for paranormal investigations, with teams of ghost hunters, mediums, and thrill seekers flocking to the ship in hopes of encountering the spirits that call it home. Many have captured unexplained phenomena on film: flickering lights, objects moving by themselves, and strange orbs appearing out of nowhere. Some claim to have recorded ghostly voices, distant whispers, and cries for help, which seem to echo from the depths of the ship's dark bowels. But what is it about the Queen Mary that keeps these spirits trapped on board? The ship's violent history, its involvement in a devastating wartime accident, the deaths that occurred during its service, and the emotional weight of the passengers and crew seems to have created a perfect storm for paranormal activity. Add to that the ship's transformation from a vessel of luxury to a haunted hotel, and it becomes clear why so many believe that the Queen Mary's ghostly passengers will never be able to leave. Perhaps there's a deeper connection, an unbroken link between the ship's past and its present. Some believe that the souls of the fallen, the lost, and the forgotten are trapped within the walls of the Queen Mary, forever bound to the ship that carried them through life and death. As night falls on Long Beach, California, the Queen Mary stands in eerie silence, waiting for the next soul brave enough to step aboard. The ship may have stopped sailing, but its dark journey is far from over. For as long as its rusted hull rests in the water, the Queen Mary will continue to be a lighthouse for the lost spirits of the past. Do you dare to board the Queen Mary, to venture into its haunted halls, to witness the ghostly apparitions that await within? The spirits are restless, their stories still untold, but if you listen closely enough, you might just hear them. Whispers carried on the wind, footsteps echoing in the shadows, and the mournful cry of the souls who never left. Will you join them? You're not alone out there. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey through the haunted halls of the Queen Mary. If the echoes of those restless spirits still haunt your thoughts, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more spine-tingling tales from the world's most haunted places. Don't forget to hit that like button. And remember, the darkness always has a story to tell. Until next time, sleep tight if you can.